Hi, Deitra. Okay, well, thank you for joining the blog and getting moving with this first set of pictures. So, definitely on the right track here. I'm going to show you some tricks in Photoshop and how to improve things. So, what I like here is that you're lined up with the church and you're looking at all this structure on the first one. Um, I've been urging people to do everything in their power to avoid putting sky when possible. And I'll show you why as we get into the editing part of this. But essentially with each image, what we're going to learn in editing is that we want to highlight the focal point and quiet down the areas that are bright or lead your eye away from the focal point. And the sky is usually way too bright, also in this one, and takes your eye away from this area. So one other thing here is on phone cameras, you can't zoom in with them. They have what's called digital zoom, and they use tinier and tinier portions of the sensor, which is already very tiny. And what the result is blotchy, blurry pictures. Careful about that. When you want to start zooming, the only real way to do it is to have a real camera with a real zoom lens. I understand the brand new Galaxy S20 has a real zoom function built in, but that phone is $1,500. All right, but I do like the composition here. I like the way the road is going. It's just quality-wise we can improve because of the zoom problem. And this one, we're not quite lined up. We've got a bright area here to deal with. This is interesting just for the visual interest of all this texture. And this one is good because of the way you're front and center to it. Again, you have the back of the camera parallel to the building. There's no sky, but I'm going to show you how to clean it up also. So again, the sky dilutes the power of what was in here, and same with this one, although this is a little better. Learning how to deal with the sky is sort of an advanced topic and a little bit beyond the scope of this first time through. All right, I have this picture loaded into Photoshop, and I want everyone to know that editing your work in Photoshop is fully half of the class. Taking the pictures is the first half, and then learning how to edit is the second half. So that's a really important part of all this. Okay, let's get started. We are just doing a few things here. We're going to adjust the levels. We're going to create a sense of light around the focal point and vignette or darken the edges. We're going to straighten this so that the stairs are parallel to the bottom of the frame. And that's pretty much it. So let me start by adjusting the overall levels, and I hit Control L, or Image Adjustment Levels is the menu item, and I'm just taking the black slider and moving that right up to the edge of the mountain. This is a histogram that shows all the values of the picture from full black on the left to full white, and I don't want to clip and make whites blown out and too white, so I take them right to the edge of the mountain. The middle is a mid-tone adjustment, so that you can play with a little bit too. So that's adjusting the overall picture. That's number one. Number two, let's straighten out the stairs. So for that I'm going to use Free Transform. And to do that I have to select all. Control A is the shortcut, or select all, and then edit Free Transform right here, and the shortcut is Control T. Okay, and that gives us these little handlebars, but I don't want to just rotate this because it leaves me with pieces cut off. So let me undo that. Control T, I hit escape to undo it, by the way. And now, if I hold down Control button, notice what happens to the arrow in the lower left-hand corner. So it turns to a wide open arrow like that, and I'm clicking and dragging by holding Control, and I'm making the stairs even across the bottom here. And I think I'll leave the rest alone. So, and then deselect by select deselect or Control D. There's just a few shortcuts to learn, and you'll find that once you learn a few shortcuts, you've got everything going. It's not that complicated. Photoshop works by whatever we select, it makes changes to. So if I wanted to bring a little light into the center here and darken the outer edges, I can do that by making a quick selection using the lasso tool. This tool up here, the rectangular marquee and the elliptical, is also a way to do selections, but we'll stick with this for now. And every time we do a selection, you have to feather it out to blend it in. So you click Select and Mask right up here, and then feather it like this. And then I'm going to hit levels again, Control L, and it's pretty good right now. I'm just brightening a little bit, just tweaking ever so slightly. Very, very good to begin with. But if I invert this, select inverse, and select the outside, when I darken, I don't use levels. I use image adjustment, brightness, contrast. It's a bit gentler. And notice what I just did here. I darkened the outside just slightly. Control D to deselect. What about this door? Maybe we can bring a little more detail into that. So if I made a selection, feather it. Control H hides the selection so I can see it better. Control L is levels. And I'm going to bring up the highlight again. And good. Deselect. So that's it. That has improved things. So let's take a look here. Window history. And it shows me everything I did since I pasted the picture in. So this is the picture you posted, and this is the edit. Okay? We take the picture and then we clean it up and fix it. So let me head back to the blog for a second and grab another one just to repeat. Maybe this one. Well, this one, because there's less sky involved. So I'm going to right click, copy image, bring it over to Photoshop, right here, File New. Create, paste it in. Because the sky is such a bear, I'm going to crop it out. So New Tool Alert, here's the crop tool, fifth one down on the left. You click this little adjustment box and pull that in. And while I'm at it, I can see if this is parallel and also straighten things this way. So just twisted that a little bit. Notice that these vertical lines are tilting in, so I'm going to use that same idea of free transform. Control A to select all, Control T, shortcuts. Holding down the Control button, click and drag these vertical lines and make them parallel to the edge of the frame. Deselect, Control L, adjust the highlights into the edge of the mountain, the shadows into the edge of the mountain. I'll show you the before and after on just that one move, okay? And then I say where are the focal points or focal point. So this window is interesting and this door. Excuse me. So let me do them separately. Take this entrance, feather it back, hide it, Control H, and levels because I'm bringing up the light, Control L, and just bring in some detail. And deselect it, and then this window, same idea. Highlight it, feather it, hide it, bring up some light, bring up some shadows, give it more oomph, more presence. Deselect. All right, so here we have the difference, the first post and the edit. The post and the edit. More detail on the door, things are straightened out. More detail on the window. See the sky, how much it takes your eye away from these areas. Okay. Good enough. We've gone long enough. So practice this, load up Photoshop, bring your pictures into Photoshop, edit them before we post them. That's a real important part of the class. Take care. See you on the blog.